is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball again, coming back to y'all with another video. Trade deadline has picked up so far on Wednesday. Obviously, early tomorrow will be the end, and that's why you're starting to see a lot of people get the deals done real quick. So Thon finally got traded. He wanted to get out of Milwaukee because he wasn't getting any playing time. And when you're a guy as highly touted as he was, a lot of people feel like he could be a star. A lot of people feel like he can be the next Kevin Garnett. Like them, the type of comparisons that you want. A guy that can dominate offensively but still be a rim protector. And remember, KG was Defensive Player of the Year for the Boston Celtics. And a lot of people feel like Thon can be a two-way superstar coming out the draft. And I actually bought into a little bit of the hype. I seen his body. I seen his potential. I seen him in Summer League. And I made an NBA breakdown about it. He had the potential that I seen. You know, being able to be long and very athletic and mobile. Being able to slide to the rim, pick and pop. The talent was oozing out of him, and he felt like, hey, I'm on the Bucks. I like being here. We're rebuilding, and at the end of the day, I can be a starting center for a team that need floor spacing. 2 years later, he's fighting just to get playing time. Years later, and now he feels like it's time for him to get out of there, so that way he can get paid. Because remember, Thon Maker is a free agent this year. And, you know, staying with the Bucks, he's not going to really make that much money because he hasn't put up the numbers. He's only going to really make money off potential. Other than that, he has had a terrible career at the Milwaukee Bucks. He has shown flashes of greatness and flashes of the guy that we thought he would be, but he plays very inconsistently, and he plays with inconsistent minutes. One game he'll get 25, 30 minutes. Next game he'll get 11. Next game he might not even play for weeks. And I understand that, you know, you're a guy of his caliber. You feel like you can really be something special in this league. And then you have a season like he had this year where you expect to play a lot. Then they signed Brook Lopez and some other pieces. Now you're stuck on the bench because they have better players and players that can help them win now. And the fact that why would we fix and give you more minutes? Because at the end of the day, we're the #1 team in the entire NBA with these players getting more minutes than you. So at one point he was getting some solid minutes, but it really still wasn't enough for him to really showcase his talent on a consistent basis. And I struggle finding a team that can really give him a chance to really showcase his talent and give him the minutes. And Detroit is one of the very few teams that could do it. I thought he'd go to like the Cleveland Cavaliers or something like that. But he ended up getting traded to Detroit for Stanley Johnson, who I'll talk about in a little later. But Thon, he really has to, this is his big shot. If he really wants to get the money, if he really wants to, you know, showcase his talent, going to Detroit where they need some help, they need some offense, they need some defense at that center position. And you can play the power forward position too, depending on what lineups and who's out there. They do need some talent. They do need some scoring. And, you know, Stanley Johnson hasn't been that guy. He's another guy that's in a similar situation. He gets more minutes, but he just can't shoot. Coming out of college, you thought Stanley Johnson had potential to be a 3-and-D guy at worst, and he hasn't even came close to that. This season, he's getting 20 minutes, but he's shooting 38 from the field, 28 from 3. He's still giving you around 3 rebounds and 1 assist and 7 points. He's more of a guy that had huge potential to really become an all-star caliber player, but it wasn't reality so far. Being in the NBA 4 years, shown really no signs of improvement. His defense and hunger When I seen him in college and summer league, he wanted to defend, he wanted to fight, he wanted to go out there and show out offensively, and he did. But he couldn't do it consistently. He gets to the NBA, they give him the minutes, they give him starting chances, and he just couldn't knock down shots consistently. He just couldn't hit threes. He couldn't finish in the paint. He was raw coming out of college, and he has not shown those signs of improvement. I do not blame them for trying to get out of this contract. Plus, on top of that, who wouldn't trade Thon for Stanley Johnson? Thon still has a higher upside than Stanley Johnson when you think about it in the big picture. Even if they wanted to keep Stanley Johnson, even if he could continue to develop in the future, you rather just trade him for a guy like Thon who has a higher upside, and he's going to be a restricted free agent, so you can still match any offer to keep Thon. And at the end of the day, if you look at it from that perspective, I'd rather have Thon than Stanley. Even if they both are buses, Thon has a higher upside and higher ceiling. So this is a good swap for the Detroit Pistons, getting rid of a guy that they really don't need to get a guy that has a higher upside. And the fact that Stanley Johnson, I like what he did in Detroit his first year, showed that he can really not be he was not afraid to guard anybody. He was willing to fight anybody. He was willing to go hard at anybody, and I liked it. I like this guy Stanley Johnson. He has the hunger, he has the fight, he has the will, and he's gonna be a special player for Detroit. But it flew over my head. I was crazy because Stanley Johnson has worked out with the best coaches. He has worked out with superstars in the off season, and the guy has really not improved at all, which is utterly shocking because he seemed like he wanted to be a big time player. It just he could never really get there. And now, people are after this contract, or probably 2 years from now, we might not even see Stanley Johnson in the league unless it's because of potential, because he's 22. So he got a long way to go in the NBA if he can continue to get contracts of people that's willing to try him. But he's not an NBA player. He's probably more of a G League player. The guy can barely finish the ball around the rim. He's athletic. He's big for his size, and he got a lot of girth and a lot of mass. But it hasn't really added up to really anything at the end of the day. So I don't know who I'm more disappointed in, Thon or Stanley Johnson, because I feel like they both on equal footing when it comes to disappointment. But at the end of the day, I think both guys are going to be either getting paid really nothing, probably about 5 to 7 million, 10 million at the max. And if that happens, I'd rather pay Thon the 10 million than Stanley Johnson. But I don't think the Bucks going to keep him, even if he does finish out the rest of this year on the roster. I don't really see him as a long-term fit. If you have players like Chris Middleton, Brogdon, and Giannis, they're going to always eat up the minutes when it comes to the guard and forward positions. And I don't really see them giving much time to Stanley Johnson, much like Detroit did. They only gave him 15 to 20 minutes every year because he just couldn't really knock down shots, which made him a liability on offense. Not being able to do anything but get out and transition and get some backdoor cuts every blue moon. That's all you can really get from him. And outside of that, he really is a non-factor. Some games he can get hot, just like Thon, but most games he really can't hit a shot to save his life. So we'll see what happens with both of these young players. They both was guys with huge potential. They both was guys that a lot of people liked in the draft. So I give them credit. They had a little hype. They showed potential throughout their career. They just never was able to do it consistently. And both of these guys might not even be rotation players on a great team. But considering that Detroit is rebuilding, it seems like getting rid of Reggie Bullock, getting rid of Stanley Johnson, it seems like they're going in a younger direction. And it seems like they're giving up on the Blake, Reggie, and Andre Drummond experiment. So we'll see what happens Thursday. Through the rest of this day and Thursday. Can they really find guys that take on Drummond? Can they really find a way to get rid of Reggie? If not, then they're going to be cap strapped. And I think that's the thing that they really trying to get out of, trying to find ways to offload a lot of these players that they have not developed and have not matched well with the team, and they haven't really played well in general. They're good enough to make the playoffs, but then they went on some huge losing streaks that knocked them out. But at the same time, they wasn't going to be nothing but a 6 seed to me at the best, even if they were to trade for Mike Conley. So I don't really see them making a significant improvement or even being close to being a championship team, which, at the end of the day, should stop you and make you think we need to offload these players to have a brighter future. Because if this is our future, Reggie, Andre, and Blake, that's not good enough. Even if you do make the playoffs, you're not going to really do anything in there anyway because you just don't have enough talent to really compete. And I think Dwayne Casey is a good coach, and he showed that in the beginning of the season. They just don't have enough to consistently win in the NBA, even if they did have two All-Star caliber players in Drummond and Blake. That's only going to take you so far. And, even with Mike Conley, I don't even think they get home court advantage in the playoff, even in the East, because it's so top heavy. The only team that can really replace in that top five is Indiana, and they play well even without Victor Oladipo, and we seen that against the Lakers yesterday. So let me know what you guys think. Who has a higher upside, Thon Maker or Stanley Johnson? Let me know what you guys think. Who will have a better career, Thon Maker or Stanley Johnson? Do you think Stanley Johnson can figure it out and at worst become a 3-and-D guy? Do you think he's going to be a bust? Do you think he just can't shoot, so he's never going to really make it in the NBA? Do you think Thon will become a two-way superstar? Do you think this is the opportunity that he needs? Do you think that he can become more than just a bust that's what he is at this point? But do you think he just needed the opportunity to showcase his talent by getting a lot more minutes and getting a lot more chances to really impact the game? Or do you think Thon has been what he has been, an inconsistent guy that has huge potential that just haven't been able to realize it or even fill out the rest of his game outside of just being a spot-up shooter and a solid rim protector? He does foul a lot, he does gamble a lot, and he does, try a little bit too hard on defense. But with the right coach and the right system implemented, he could probably realize more of that potential. But that's about it. Both of these guys had, a lot of potential, and both of these guys have really not performed well, or they just probably need a change of scenery, or they really just needed a different coach and a different team around them to get the best out of their abilities. Even though I don't really see Stanley Johnson cracking a rotation with the Milwaukee Bucks, he is a good, solid player that I'm not a big Stanley Johnson person no more, but, even if he does leave or go, Stanley Johnson is very young, so I can still see team trying to try him out over the next couple years, and we'll definitely see if he can really make it in the NBA, or he would just be in the G League, or maybe playing overseas by 25. We won't know until we see it, but hopefully this trade make him a little bit more hungrier, make him want to work on his game even more, considering that the trade basically gave up on him and then dumped him to the Bucks, where he's not going to get that much of an opportunity, which means his career can be coming to an end, or he's going to have to put in even more work to really get that three ball going and really find other ways to impact the game outside of just being a streaky scorer. So at the end of the day, let me know what you guys think. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description, comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support. Thanks for liking the videos. Thanks for checking out my other videos. And if you're new to the channel, I do trades, buyout, NBA draft, summer league, season preview, tributes to the legends, even NBA breakdown. So if you're new to the channel, check out my channel, check out my playlists. And if you enjoyed this video, I'm guaranteeing you will enjoy the rest. And if you enjoy the rest, come to the family and subscribe. I enjoy making these videos. You guys enjoy watching. That's why I continue to go. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis, I'm going. And let me know who you think won the trade.